We are live. So, hi, this is RT Bear, and we are talking about the Black and White campaign. We are going to take from the chat some questions from the chat. This is kind of like part two of what Taylor and I were doing earlier. We just kind of took a break to get some food, some Chinese food. We're all recharged. We're all feeling good. So. I'm RT Bear. I'll be hosting this Hacks Chat. Well, what is this? This is Taylor. This is more of a, what are we calling this? Q&A?
This is the Black and White Rap Party Part 2, the
Yeah,
final hours.
the final countdown. Yeah, so
Dun dun
it's
dun dun dun.
and so as always, we have Taylor, aka Tag, and she'll be reading your chats and saying hello. Say hello.
Hello, I'll be reading your chats today. Don't hold back on any questions. Please join the conversation with us.
Yes, and we have Denali. Is that how you say your name? I hope I
Yep,
get it right.
Denali. Yep,
Denali.
And
which is not to be confused with Denalo.
never.
Yeah.
Yeah, never. And so he has a show along with our other guest. It's called Fan Speak, and they talk about comics and various things in the industry. And it's a very good show, and we'll have a link in the description as well. And so one of the other guests we have is from that show, and you guys do other shows too. I'll let you talk about those, but we have Chester Busby III in this chat with us as well.
Yes, your friendly neighborhood bugbear.
We both have bear going on here.
We do.
Welcome to the Bear Cave.
It's
There you go.
unbearable. It's unbearable.
Oh, the puns.
The puns, they're starting. Yeah, so I don't know, Taylor, where do you want to start? Should we just start by thanking everybody? For all their support?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you everyone for helping get us here. Black and White just crossed the 35 line, and
Yes.
we are very thankful.
Yes, and I think one of your friends, Pixel Trader, was projecting us at 40K by night's end, so that would be nothing short of like amazing for us as creators and as dreamers and trying to get these books into people's hands. Money definitely helps, so that would be amazing if we could do that by night's end. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so where'd you say we were at, Taylor?
Let me check right now. I was digging through some fan letters a second ago. We are at, let me refresh for prosperity, 35,373
Yes.
with 665 backers. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, so we're not as prepared as we usually are for these things, so we're just kind of winging it here. So we're just kind of fudging through stuff. But I think let me throw this to our guests, and you guys can introduce yourself better so people know who you are and your shows and things like that, and then we can talk about some more black and white stuff. So Chester. Yes.
Well, as you had said, my name is Chester C. Busby III, and I'm the host of Fan Speak and several other shows over on the Fandom Zones. And we have a bunch of fans here, not only Comicsgate, but just comics in general, that come on and join us on our streams, and we chat with them about comics and about what's going on. And our main premise is to get the fans involved, have them come up and talk to us and talk to everybody, and that's what we like to do. And we're having a ton of fun doing it. So I think there's some links down below. You guys should come over and check us out and join us and have some fun with us.
Yes, definitely. It's a fun show and a bunch of fun people that are hosting it. So you have Hope Fire, you have Buster, and who else do you have?
Let's see. Well, we have, of course, myself and Denali. We have DeWolf. We have Beowulf. We have Booster. We have Pope Fire. We have Mr. Thundaro, who's sitting right over there in your chat.
Oh, Mr. Thundaro, we love you.
And of course, we have we have many other people who come on and join us all the time. We're always putting new fans on, so the list is ever growing, Mr. Tiber.
Very cool. That's what I like about this community is that it's always open, and we just kind of keep bopping in and out of each other's worlds here, and that's pretty cool. I love these platforms. So let's get on to Denali, who has a crazy comic book. Like he should be a historian in comics. The knowledge this guy has is uncanny. When we were on his show the other day, he was throwing books at me that I didn't even remember I had done.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No, yeah, knowing I was like looking at it, I'm like reading it, and I was like, oh wait, you were on Ultimate Spider-Man up to 55, issue 55 before you left.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at, I actually found one of the other covers that you did with Storm and Iceman Portals in. I think that was issue 285, I think. I may have to relook at that issue. So X-Men, so I did pick up that a while back as well. So I was happy to find that one. And then Chrono Mechanics. I was so happy when you mentioned you were making another volume of that in Mitch's stream the other day.
Yeah.
So you had two fans there of Chrono Mechanics.
Hopefully more soon.
Oh, definitely. So once Black and White is out and you get people to see what you bring it, it's going to be high. So
yeah, I think so. And
Yeah,
the Denali Lama has spoken. Namaste.
Denali Lama. That's awesome.
We got John Davies here with us now.
Yo,
Hey,
yo,
John.
yo.
Yeah. So we're doing our introduction. So John, give us a little introduction so that people know who they're listening to.
Well, I'm John Davies. I used to work there at Hack Shack Studios, off on my own on the East Coast now. Doing a book called The Event, Children from the Atom. It'll hit Indiegogo next February. So that's about it.
Yeah, John's a good artist, and he helps co-host the show that we have that we just call it Versus. So it's two fandom ideas that basically duke it out for supremacy. So John helps out with that, and John used to, when he lived in California, he would help out from time to time in the studio. So in the early days when we were setting up the computers and all that Blue Line, he was invaluable because
Yes.
he really did understand those things on a level that we did not. So we are always grateful to John for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
Chester.
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, when did you say the next fan speak was?
Well, our fan speak is every Friday at 8 p.m. Standard Time, although once a month we do one on Saturday to try to accommodate guests, of course. But we have the fan speak. We also have Tuesday, our Bugbear's Basement, which is much more relaxed, and we just talk about, fun, nerdy stuff. But we try to keep our lives to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time pretty consistently so that people know when to find us and when to come over.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's great advice because I think next week when the Indiegogo has slowed down a little bit, Taylor and I are going to talk about how to maybe get some of our YouTube programming under control as far as times and things like that. Because like you said, Chester, people can look forward to that and they'll know what time to come in and to check out your programming. So
Absolutely.
So we're kind of like we were just throwing things together when we had time in the past. So now we're kind of living and learning, and we're trying to bring some, I guess it's sanity to our lives. So we know how to schedule to get things done, but also to where people know, what time to come in for certain shows and stuff like that. So we are watching you guys and seeing how you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and learning.
Hey, you keep learning something new. There's always something that other people can teach you. Kind of like how you mentioned your hat check portfolio reviews when they're talking about your hands. You know how you mentioned. I think you study other people's styles and you're incorporated. So it's always the same thing. It's a collaborative community. You know.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
so it's just not artists, but writers and now content creators as YouTuber. So it's always a fun thing. We chat and we have fun.
Yeah. Hey, John, have you tuned in for FanSpeak yet?
I've seen it once or twice. Yeah, it's pretty good, and that's where I learned to do my YouTube channel. Also, I'm still learning on that. Yeah, and mine is Tuesdays 8 p.m. So the Artist and Porter Show. And
awesome.
yeah, we discuss all things comics and movies and toys.
Always expanding. Yeah, always expanding. So let's go. I think Taylor has some. She has some fan letters from 94, 95 that she was going to read, and then I have a couple new pages. I don't know if we previewed this. I think one of them we had. But there's two new ones that I don't think we've previewed yet or showed black and white fans yet. So let's see if I can do this. I click on my little icon there. I go over to screen share, and then I hit share, and then I go over here.
Oh, there we go. The button.
Yeah, I pushed the button. And so I was drawing this just maybe an hour or so ago on the live stream. And so this is as far as I've gotten so far. So I haven't really got any rendering or shadows in yet, but all the structure's there. And I'm finally happy with her hair. I drew that like 3 times. So her hair is kind of, this is the 3rd incarnation of it. Mm-hmm. So this is the drawing or the start of the drawing for the 30K, right, Taylor?
This was the, oh gosh, I think
No.
35.
35.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah, we did a 30K giveaway, and those names are already pulled. But this is the 35K, which we hit. So people who have backed from the beginning of the campaign too, I think we kind of agreed when we close the campaign out, are going to be entered into this one.
Yeah, and even if we're still not sure, but even if we roll it over into the store, into the in-demand, the drawing will take place after the in-demand has been closed. So then everybody that's in the initial campaign and in the in-demand store will be they'll be entered into the drawing. So we wanted to keep it open, and inclusive for everybody that's part of the campaign. So it's going to take a little bit of time to find the winner. So bear with us on that. But if we go into the Indiegogo or into the in-demand, it'll take probably another month or so to get this into your hands. So we have that, and this is
a lot of names entered into that drawing.
I love your old school way of drawing a winner. By the way, that was pretty cool.
How else can you do it?
There's digital ways you could have done that a lot easier, actually. But hey, we're boomers. Be a boomer.
Yeah.
But is it? I would say, is it fair just to put it in digitally and have a machine come up with the winner, or for you to find them with your bare hands?
Barehanded.
No, I like barehanded.
Yeah. With
bare
the
paws.
bare hands.
The puns.
There's the pun again. Yes.
Yeah. and you're right now at 35,626.
Oh my gosh! It just went up. Thanks, guys.
So make sure to hit that share buttons and share it on Facebook, Twitters, because that will actually draw more attention, and it'll bring this channel up in the search bar easier for YouTube. They count that twice more, so go share it to get more attention.
Yeah, I'm going to be, if I don't get to your guys' questions right away, I'm juggling a lot right now because I'm going to be posting the links in the chat, of course, while trying to read your stuff and checking the numbers regularly. So
Taylor's been working. Bear with her.
Bare necessities.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop, is it?
No.
It's not.
No, we've just begun.
We picked a theme.
You just got to bear with it.
Yes, I will.
Bear witness to the grid.
You guys are outnumbered, You got Art here, and you got me, and I'm a fat bear in a hat. So hey, Icon is too.
Yeah, and we've barely started with this epic adventure that's going right now. Yeah. Gosh, I had to get that one in. Yeah. So uh, this is also going to be the drawing. Since I announced it on last chat, that since you guys liked it so much, this is going to be the drawing that's going to be in the book as well. So in the sketch tier, this will be the drawing that I will put in the back. It's going to be on the front inside cover of the book. So it'll be a line art version. So it'll probably look real similar to this because this is still work in progress. So the finished version will be all inked up with a brush, and it will have ink wash in there as well. So the one in the book will be more like this. Actually, it'll kind of be more of a line art version, just because the inside cover is only going to allow me to do so much because the paper's not the best, and it doesn't take like water very well. So if I do the washes and things, it'll kind of just wrinkle up the cover and it'll look horrible. So I have to do it kind of more simplistic. So that's what's going to be inside the comic books themselves. Cool. Yeah, in the sketch tier.
And the amount of work that you're putting into, you're basically making a new comic book altogether, even though you're calling it a remaster, because you did show us the layout of what you guys are doing, you know, cutting it, reformatting. You're just basically making a comic book from scratch, you know, more or less. You know, you're using some of the existing drawings, grant you, but you are adding and you are changing and you are scanning. So it's, because it kind of reminded me when Mitch was showing the layout for his Golden Age book, you know, you're doing the same thing. So it's really a new book altogether. And you even mentioned, I think, that there's going to be new changes to the story. So even if you have the original books, like kind of like I do, I'm going to have new surprises as well.
Oh yeah, it's completely different from top to bottom. And to be honest, when I started this, I naively thought that it was going to be simple to just scan the original page and then to kind of augment it digitally in Photoshop. But my gosh, it's kind of turned into, not that I'm complaining, but it turned into a little bit more work than I thought it was going to be initially. So it has really turned into almost every one of these panels is completely redrawn. There's some of the basic original left, but yeah, they are completely redrawn. So this is going to seem like a brand new book to anybody who has the original 3-issue miniseries. So
yeah, that's exciting though. That's exciting.
Yeah,
and it's new colors too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And now that we mentioned the new colors, boom!
Look at that.
Hey John, what is this? Is this is this cray?
Oh, this is ultimate cray right here.
That is
You
cool.
can leave the Davies to cray,
ultimate cray,
but you can't make him give the second cray.
Oh goodness.
I think we previewed a version of this one before, but it wasn't complete.
Yeah, that was still kind of a work in progress. And I don't know if you noticed, I kind of digitally took some blood out of this top corner. This guy here on the floor was bleeding out. So we've that's another thing. We're just kind of playing with tone of the story and things. And so Whitney in the original book, she was a lot more bloodthirsty. So she's still just as violent, but we may be toning back some of the more visual aspects of her violence.
Yeah, I noticed that you took the blood out. So you're trying to make this for maybe a little bit younger reader.
I think so, more accessible, and also just reevaluating Whitney's character, aka White. That I think maybe it's weird when you create a character like this that are really violent and aggressive. It's a fine line because you want them to still be likable. You know, you don't want her to be like a homicidal, murderer. And so I never intended that she murdered these guys, but with the amount of blood that I drew in the original comic, I don't think anybody could bleed out to that extent and not die.
Yeah, no,
because she's one of the.
A lot.
Yeah, because she's one of the heroes of the stories and the story. So it's like, how cool are you with your hero killing someone?
I think that was a common theme in the 90s. It was ultra violent, stylistic. You know, it has to be stylish killing.
Well, that's why we call it the Iron Age, right?
Yeah, and you're right, Denali. That was kind of the thing where it was a visual thing, but I think the crowd back then, or the readers, didn't take it as literal as I think readers would today.
Yeah.
So I think readers today would just go, "Oh man, she killed that dude," and I think readers back then would just go, "Oh, it's just kind of colorful." You know, they wouldn't think that deeply about it. So it's a remastering, but it's also trying to bring the tone of today into the sensibilities of the book. So it's not just look and that; it's also just tone, like tonally trying to make it feel like a 21st century book versus a 20th century book. And so those are things that we're constantly looking at and reevaluating, just to try to get a new tone for it, and to make it feel contemporary, to where people feel like it's their book, for this time.
I think there's depending the genre of the book, like if it's like a wartime book, then it's easier to digest that subject matter like that are in it, as opposed to like vigilantes who are already kind of breaking the law.
Yeah, so if they're breaking the law and killing people, that's a little bit hard to believe.
Tank Ferret says no blood equals larger market.
Yeah, to be honest, we're not doing it for a commercial aspect. We really are doing it for just tonality of the book, and so it feels organic and it feels right, because we don't want people hating this character. Not that they did before, because they didn't, but it's 25 years later, so we're really not sure what a current audience, how they're going to embrace this.
So you're just just kind of taking an edge off of her that she had before, where she was a little bit more rough and sharp. You're kind of dulling the sides of it, more malleable.
A little bit, but I think it's not so much in tone or her personality. It's just in the visual aggression. Well, not even so much the visual aggression, because she still beats people up pretty bad. But it's more of like the gratuitous aspects. I guess bloodshed would be one of the main ways of saying that.
Yeah, so, she's in a very dark place at this point in the story.
Yeah, and you don't hold it against her that she's doing this, but in the story we're trying to show that maybe her way isn't the best way to deal with people who've wronged you in the past. Yeah.
Well, hey, great art, great story. I think the people of today will enjoy that. That's what everyone's looking for, right?
I hope, yes, definitely. And by the numbers in the books that we're selling right now, I hope they agree, or they seem to agree. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, wait. Actually, this page is before that page. Yeah, so these are in sequence. So we just got this one back. I don't think that there was another version of this by another colorist, and we might have previewed it, but this is the colorist that's doing the whole book right now. So this thing's amazing. We wanted to do it like that. So Reed breaks out Whitney from this insane asylum. Basically, it's a mental hospital, insane asylum. It sounds really bad, but it really kind of is. And so
it's not on the up and up.
Yeah,
this particular place.
Yeah. And this color is by I believe it was Snakebite Cortez.
No, this is
Perea.
Yeah, so this is one of the many 20-something colorists we've had on
It was only 15.
15. Okay, I'm exaggerating. I'm a storyteller. I exaggerate things.
There you go.
The fish gets bigger.
Yeah, always does. Bigger. Yeah, I love that movie, Big Fish. Okay, so I had to get my plug in for Big Fish. So I just like the atmosphere, and so one of the ideas at play here is that Whitney just takes off after Reed helps her basically out of the main bind that she's in, and then just says, you got yourself in, you get yourself out. So as the alarm gets tripped, she bails and leaves him with all this, this stuff to deal with, which is armed guards and the like. So while she's getting out, he's got to deal with this problem. And so the idea here is that the alarm was tripped, so everything's bathed in a red light. So we thought it would be interesting to have the fight in kind of as stylistic kind of reds to show that the light has alarm had been tripped.
Yeah, I like the monochromatic in it. Yeah, it's really
They
cool.
did that same thing in Daredevil season 3 here.
Which you
Did
guys
that just come out?
Yeah, and it's
I think
epic.
we talked about it a little bit last time we were all together.
Yeah, somebody reviewed that. Was it you guys? Somebody reviewed that recently, I thought.
I'm sure many people. I think Mike was doing something like that, but we're going to review it for sure. I'm up to like 2 more episodes to finish the season, and I'm not exaggerating. This isn't the big fish thing, as you guys mentioned. I think it's the best work Netflix has ever done.
Oh
Whoa.
man,
Oh
I'm gonna
wow!
watch this now.
No,
have to check
that's
it
a big compliment there.
that's high
It is.
praise.
Yeah,
Because
it's impressive.
the first season I watched up till I think to the point where he dons the costume, and then I think life just got in the way, so I didn't watch it. And then somebody said the second season was not that strong, so I never went back to it. So now I'm hearing that the third season is really good, so maybe I'll pick it back up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the second season you have to think of it 2 season and 1 season, because 1 season was with Daredevil, the second season was with more like a backdoor pilot for Punisher, and Punisher dominated that latter part of it.
That's
so
true.
I didn't really.
That's true. But the season 2 is absolutely worth watching for one thing alone: Wilson Fisk.
Oh yeah,
Kingpin
definitely.
Is D'Onofrio, the guy that's playing it, is absolutely phenomenal. And season 3, he just every time he's on the screen, it's almost Anthony Hopkins like. It's
That
ridiculous.
guy is very good.
He's a brilliant actor. There's roles that I've seen him in that you wouldn't even recognize him. What was the movie The Judge with Robert Downey Jr.? Like, you can't even really recognize that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he
he's amazing.
he was Edgar in the first Men in Black movie.
Wait a minute, he was.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
And then he was the
He's also on Law and Order.
Yep, and he was also the recruit that Full Metal Jacket by Stan Lee.
That's what I always remember him from.
Yeah, he was also the on the short-lived TV series. It was off of Wizard of Oz. I forget what it was called.
Tin Man?
No. It was an actual series on NBC. He was the wizard though in it.
Oh yeah, that was recent. I remember that. Yeah.
I forget the name of the show, but yeah, it wasn't called Wizard of Oz or anything like that. It was an off name, but it was pretty good. Yeah, he played a really good role.
I think it was like Emerald. Oh, you're talking like Emerald
City. Yeah.
Emerald
Okay,
City.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I never watched an episode, but I remember seeing the advertising. But back on Daredevil 3, season 3, aren't they picking up the Born, or was it Born Again storyline?
They're adapting it, but it's not how you expect it. We'll leave it like that if you haven't watched it. Yeah,
interesting.
Well, that's one of my all-time favorite comic book series is the Born Again series. To me, it's absolutely flawless. Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli. I think David was at the top of his game with that story. So yeah, I heard that it's Denali. So it's loosely based on that storyline then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's intense and it's enjoyable.
It is beautiful.
Well, then you sold me. I'm sold. I'm going to watch it now.
And like you guys said, this is like the greatest thing Netflix ever put out. It took a long time for this to come out compared to the other Marvel series ones that they had. They just kept pumping those out into their second season, third season. You know.
Oh yeah. And by the way, I would say this. I know that there was some stink going around the internet about this being some kind of SJW something or another. Don't believe it. This is true to Daredevil. There's none of that nonsense. It is beautiful. Don't believe any of that nonsense. I don't even know why people were saying that. It's really well done.
Oh, good.
Good to know.
You guys told me. And when are you doing the preview? Was that what you were asking us on the show to talk about Daredevil, or was it something else? I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Oh no. We were going to do it today, and I'm sorry I created that tangent. It's just looking at your art. they did the same thing in this season with
Yeah.
the big fight scene they always do every season, and that's just what brought it to mind. I do apologize
Oh,
for
no, no, no.
derailing the conversation.
No. It was fun. I was just trying to remember because I'm also a bear, a very small brain. So there's a bear pun again.
No.
And so I don't retain things as well. And if you guys
got
are
one track mind.
if you guys are gonna start like boomer towning me right now, guess what, people? I could go senile and no one will even know because I've always been like this. So
Yeah.
Oh my!
yeah.
No, what we were asking about was for Tuesday on our show, we're going to actually review Suicide Squad issue 10 and talk about a little bit about the movie.
That
Oh,
is right.
gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Tuesday. But one thing that they do well here is, even though it's not apparent in the comic, they do give a little bit of an origin story for Bullseye, which makes sense. So
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're going to be gripping. It's three. They focus on three stories. I think they realized from season 2 what went wrong, what went right, and they knew it's about focusing the story, and it's razor sharp here.
Well,
So
like I said,
they're bringing Bullseye into season 3 then.
oh,
Yeah.
they brought him in like a hurricane, man. And it is beautiful. I'm 11 episodes in. Not one show has had any pace troubles. Literally every show is perfect. I cannot stress how awesome and epic this is. I'm really shocked they did it, because if you look at the other quality of Luke Cage and stuff like that, it's really not that great. You
Okay.
can enjoy it, but this is something different. They took it to a new level, and I'm very happy about it.
Oh my gosh, I got to check this out now. When things slow down, which I don't want them to slow down, but when they do, I'm definitely going in and checking out the Netflix stuff.
Yeah. And the Daredevil is not black and white, just full of grays. So
there is no black and white justice.
yeah. So if you want that, go get RT Bear's black and white.
Yes,
There
thank
you
you.
go. The Denali Lama has spoken. Namaste.
Namaste.
Yes, I like that. So gosh, do you have to watch season 2 then to gear up for season 3 of Daredevil?
Not really.
Good question.
No, I'd say no. I mean, I'd watch season 2 simply for Wilson Fisk. The guy is just stunning in season 2. He's just amazing all by himself. But no, you can start this without seeing anything before. I think it'd be
cool.
fun.
Yeah, because you know what? I'll make the time. I was thinking I just want to get into season 3, but I'll probably finish season 1 and then go into 2. And if it looks like it's not working, then I'll just jump right into season 3. The one that I was really kind of disappointed as far as Netflix was the Iron Fist one.
Don't talk to me about.
Oh, you guys feel the same? Okay.
Oh God, it was painful. It was painful.
I heard the season after wasn't as bad.
It's like saying getting shot in the foot isn't bad.
Are you serious? So it never got any better. Okay.
I never gave it a chance. The word of mouth was too bad.
I could never figure out. I'm pretty good at figuring out like what exactly isn't working versus what is working. And I can honestly say that show was such a cluster F that I couldn't. Hey, what was that? Somebody scratching?
Somebody's sharpening their pencils?
Sorry.
Hatching.
Yes, I am. I am hatching.
John's itching himself.
No, I'm working on that Aquaman piece.
Well, Art, I do seem to remember maybe a Fantastic Four book where you actually drew Iron Fist in that book, if I remember.
Yeah,
he was like a guest or something.
Yeah, I've had a run-in with the character here and there, but not as much as I would have liked to, because as a kid, I remember this, and I usually didn't have a lot of money to invest in this stuff, but Marvel used to have a subscription in the back, in like a little order subscription you could subscribe to, like a year's worth of books. And so I had gotten the first Iron Fist book, and so then I fell in love with it immediately. And so then when the subscriptions came up in the Marvel magazines, I saved up money. I got a money order or something like that. My mom helped me. And so I sent away and I got all my Iron Fist books through the mail. And so I had never done anything like that before because I was so hardcore. I didn't want to miss a single issue of Iron Fist because I was so hooked into the story, and the John Byrne art and all that stuff was amazing. And just to show you what kind of fan I was of Iron Fist, I actually this stunk out loud, man, because the book actually shipped to the newsstands before I got it. So I actually got the book through the mail late instead of what it should be. It should have been early, right? You would think. So I would always see it on the newsstand, and I would know I was still going to get the issue. But you know what I did? I bought the damn book anyway. So I think I have probably from issue 2 or 3, I have 2 issues of every Iron Fist book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was hardcore. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
You know what I think is
wow.
cool too with you guys, a lot of all of us here are listening to a lot of you pro artists and writers and stuff. It's cool to me how many of you guys really love comics and you actually collect books and you read them. That is cool, I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think it keeps it keeps us young, and I must say I'm a little jaded these days. So it has to be kind of an exceptional comic to get me invested these days. And but we used to, God, when did it stop, Taylor? We used to get the mailers from DC.
Yeah, they stopped doing it. You talking about when they sent us like all of them, right?
Yeah.
That was like, I think during when we were working on Batman, like midway through they stopped.
Yeah, so they gave us a subscription in lieu of the actual books to Comixology, I guess, or wherever the DC stuff is. And it was a free subscription, so we could get the books, download them, and get them that way. But I don't know if you guys are like me. I'm still a traditionalist. I like the idea of having a comic book in my hand. So it just wasn't quite the same experience. So I kind of dropped out of that pretty quickly. But when we were getting the books from DC, yeah, I read just about everything that was coming out. So good, bad, whatever. Yeah, I was keeping up on everything. Go ahead.
For myself, I go with the digital. I do buy the physical, but I go for the digital because when I want to reread things and analyze it, I don't want to ruin the book because they're like $4 to $5 now, and that's crazy for me to say, okay, I'm going to read the book and it's going to be ruined. I want to save it, and the digital copies allows me to reread it, for it. And if I occasionally want to open the book and I know people like scream, no, don't do it. Then I have the physical copy to do so.
You know what?
True collector.
That's pretty smart. So you're saying that you still buy the hard copy, but you kind of stash that away, like you keep it in the plastic or whatever.
Correct.
For your collection, and then for your pleasure, just to read and reread, you keep the digital version.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's got to be people out there taking notes right now, because to be honest, if I was in the middle of collecting again, that would be probably the biggest eye opener for me. I'd go, wait a minute. Yeah, that makes sense. Stash away the hard copy and then read the digital versions. That's
because.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea, but I don't know. I'm with you, Art. We are boomer brother bears, man. I like to have the book in my hand, man. I gotta have that book,
And sometimes, I don't know, Chester, if you've gone into your older collection, and this is going to sound really weird, but when you crack that book open, I don't know, that newsprint, there's something about that smell, that scent is like, it's intoxicating. I don't know what the hell it is. I heard somebody say, like, the sense that brings back memories, like good memories, I guess good, bad, or whatever, memories is scent. So when I crack those books open and I get that that kind of whiff, I'm like, yeah, I'm all of a sudden I'm a 7-year-old kid again, reading my Batman
Yeah.
comics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the cool
fascinating.
thing. No, go ahead, Denali.
I was going to say, sorry, Chester, that
no
the
problem.
scent triggers the memory portion of your brain. So
Yeah.
when you're breathing in that scent, it triggers those memory. So you get that euphoria that you had originally. So you are actually remembering and re-experiencing that euphoria that you had when you got that child, because the emotions tied to that memory are so intense.
Yeah, and nothing's better for me, to be quite honest. One like just a little side note to that. I went through my older collection that I haven't probably looked at in 20 years, and I went through it, and I have like the original, all the early Avengers run, like the Captain America first appearance, all that stuff. And so I went back to my collection. I think I went back mainly because I had remembered I didn't really pack that stuff very well. So when I had those things, it was before the Mylars and the plastic bags that kind of are not supposed to damage the book, the backing board and all that stuff. So I remembered when I was a kid, to protect them, I used to just go to the supermarket. So those produce bags. I used to just wrap my comic books up in the produce bags. So then I was thinking, as an adult, just like, it was probably last year that I went through the collection, I was like, that's probably not the best way to protect these books. And so stupid me, I went on and I looked up the value of these Avengers books, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting on a small fortune here. And then the reality is like, but they're probably not in good shape, right? So I already have the fear going in, right? So my expectations are not high, but I did not expect this at all. So I got it's Avengers #1, and I pick it up, and I just touch the sides. I'm being very, very gentle with it to try to get it into the backing, the board in the bag. And as soon as I touched it, even before I could get to that point, the cover just fell apart. I mean, it literally turned to ash. I'm not even kidding. It's not hyperbole. I touched it, and it literally just fell apart in my hands. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to partially destroy this book just to protect it. You know what I mean? So like all these fears, and I'm getting all nutty. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this worth it? Should I just like leave it like this? Should I put it in the bag? Should I chance it? So I ended up doing it. And then oh my gosh, all the way to probably issue 6 or 7, they all fell apart on some level just because in the bag. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah. So I have them. So I'll always, just as a fan, I'll go, you know what, I own these books, but I'll never ever be able to open them again. And just other than the satisfaction of owning them, they're virtually worthless. They're just
That's horrible.
Yeah.
And
I know.
And the thing that you have to keep aware if you're going to collect and everything is changing the boards every 5 years or so, because then the ink behind the board starts sticking to the back of the board, and you can kind of tell when you need to change when it turns yellow. So that's something else you're going to have to be aware of as well, Art.
Yeah, somebody at CGC or somebody, I had a conversation, they told me that as well. So they also said and this maybe it's just because it's CGC, or what's it, CBS?
CBCS?
CS, yeah. Because they wanted to do some stuff with black and white. And they were telling me about this, and they were saying with the way they pack the books, there's none of those problems, because they said even with the CBS, sometimes they'll have problems with the protection factor, but it could have been his just his marketing spiel, but he made it sound like that for 20 years that in that protection that they provide, it will stay good for 20 years. Is that true? Because you guys sound like you're more in the collector arena still.
Yeah,
not really. I mean, but I did the other day, because what I was mentioning is, with this indie revival that's going on, a lot of people got a lot of excitement and creativity is going on. And one of the things it did for me was made me go back and open my long boxes that I haven't opened in, I don't know, decades. And I actually just talking about condition. One of the ones I picked out and looked at and reread again was the introduction of Hal Jordan by Julius Schwartz,
Ooh.
and it was in really good condition.
Wait
No
a minute.
problem.
So you're talking about when they did launch the new Green Lantern, the modern
Yep.
one?
Yep, that's right. I have a issue 1.
Wow.
I have all those early ones of Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps, all that stuff.
Did Green Lantern? He didn't get his own book right off the bat, did he?
No, but when Schwartz brought it in, and I have all that early Hal Jordan stuff because my uncle actually was a big comic book fan, and he had a whole collection just one of those old dusty I don't know, I guess they're wooden lockers, those foot lockers.
Yeah.
And he just gave it to me because I was the only one reading comics, and it had all that old stuff. It had a bunch of old Batmans, a lot of stuff from the 50s, 60s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they
Pretty cool.
What kind of shape are most of those books? Are they all kind of well loved or in good
Well,
shape?
yeah, but they're beautiful condition. They're all still binded. There's no pages falling out. They've certainly yellowed, but now they're great condition.
Wow. So you have 50s books. When did DC do the big upgrade? Like with the new Flash, the new Green Lantern, the new Atom, all those.
Like 58, 59, I think. I mean, ask Denali. He's the encyclopedia, but I think it was like 58 or 59 or something like that.
So then you have that stuff. Wow.
I do. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. I told this story before, but man, one of my biggest, and I had no control over it though, but because in when I was a kid, you mostly got books in like liquor stores and sometimes supermarkets would have them, but there were various places like that. And so I don't think those guys cared about what they were ordering, or DC and Marvel just sent whatever they had, to them. So sometimes you wouldn't even have follow-ups to your book, like you get like issue 5 and then there would be no issue 6 on the rack, the next month. Because I think they would sell out of whatever they had and then they would order more. So sometimes they didn't even go in order. And so I just remember it was probably after like some of the Spider-Man cartoons and things started coming out, and Spider-Man became more of like a phenomenon in our culture. And I was like, who's this character? Who is this Spider-Man character? So then I started looking into it, and I realized there was a Marvel universe. Like I had no idea there was a Marvel universe. So I'm a 60s kid, so I grew up like when the Marvel universe launched, I was probably 5 to 7, somewhere in there. So I was the perfect age for comic books. And so yeah, I don't have any of those early Marvel books except ones that I got later on, but I didn't get those things first run. And then I just think back like, man, if those shops or those places that I bought my books, well, my parents bought those books for me, if they would have carried those Marvel books, I would have all of those, the whole Marvel, like the universe start, all those, Amazing Fantasy, all those books, I would actually own. They'd be in bad shape, but I would own those books. And I just think, man, that stinks. I got ripped off.
Actually, yeah, it seemed that my uncle was a DC fan because he didn't have any Marvel in there. There was some other non-DC stuff, but it was no Marvel. I think the earliest Marvel comic I have is probably Sergeant Fury, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Well, DC is older than Marvel, so that's probably where his love came in.
So. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, in the 50s there was no well, there was Timely or whatever it was, but there was no real Marvel. At least there wasn't the Marvel universe, the superhero universe that we know now. But I think as soon as Marvel launched around the 70s, when it was almost like Wave 2, where this is so weird because there's a lot of like darker characters like Son of Satan, Brother Voodoo, Ghost Rider, gosh, what they had? They had the werewolf book. They had the Dracula book. God, what else did they kind of launch in the 70s? Gosh, there were a lot of supernatural books now that I think about it. But those are books that I got firsthand because by then those local, like liquor stores and supermarkets were carrying Marvels. But none of those early days, none of those 60s books, man. It's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when it started. I mean, I think Marvel wasn't Marvel until Stan Lee actually took center stage and started
Sure.
guiding the company about it, and adding more realistic and going away from the DC model, because all the other companies were following DC, how to tell the story telling, and then Stan Lee started hitting radioactive, more deeper meaning to the characters, more psychological. These are broken characters, more or less. They have, faults. They're closer to us, kind of deal. And that's when they started jumping in popularity.
Yeah, I think what DC had was like all their Achilles heels were external, so it was like yellow or fire or kryptonite or these things. And what Stan did is they were like internal villains. They were like things that you could relate to more, like personality flaws or situational flaws, things that were more human than just an external. So those characters seemed deeper in a way and more relatable because they were more like you. They weren't as untouchable, because kryptonite, let's face it, doesn't really exist. Fire, oops.
Well, it does,
I
but
know,
it's
you
not
ruined
what
it for
you think it is.
It does, but not.
But not for us.
It is on the periodic table, but it's not exactly what you think it is.
Oh, wait! I did not know this. So there is an element that's called kryptonite.
Yes,
Yes.
you didn't take
I'm
chemistry
looking
in
this
school.
up right now.
How did I not know this? All
And
my
here-
friends and
It's a heavy element.
Yeah, it is.
everybody I've ever met in my life, there was like, oh my gosh.
And also, they introduced kryptonite through the Superman Adventures of Superman radio show to
Yeah.
give the because originally in the Golden Age Superman, he didn't have any weakness. He was, superhuman strength and superhuman jump and all that is only in the Silver Age when they did all super crazy cosmic power Superman. But in the radio show is when, they introduced the kryptonite element. Oh, kryptonite hurts him, to give the guy a 2 weeks vacation. They're like, how do we do this? How do we keep the main character out of the radio show for 2 weeks? He's weak to kryptonite from his whole planet that fell.
Yeah.
My God, it's genius.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were created for the radio show. I can't remember all of them, but there was a lot that is part of the Superman mythology today that was invented and created for the radio show. Yeah. I want to say, no, that wasn't it. Some of the Daily Planet characters, I think. I can't remember right off the bat, though.
Hey, Denali, is that on some digital place you can find them? The old radio show?
Yeah, you can go to audio.com, but you can probably find it on YouTube, and they probably have it as a playlist, The Adventures of Superman radio shows. It's going to be wonky a little bit, and they're going to be kind of saying some words and some stylistic choices where they're actually describing it because it's an audio thing. But once you get through it and some of the sensibility of that time, is actually an interesting stories.
Oh, that's cool.
And these were, yeah.
Apparently, the real kryptonite, otherwise known as jawderite, is a mineral that was found in Serbia, but it's not green and it doesn't glow.
No.
Aw, shucks.
Yeah.
Aw, shucks.
I would argue it's not kryptonite then, but
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, wait, is
But,
it kryptonite then the nickname? Because you said it was called something else.
it says otherwise known as jawderite. I don't know.
Huh. I wonder if somebody just nicknamed it kryptonite and I didn't get the memo. You know, we're changing this to kryptonite and we're not going to tell Art. Okay.
Well, you know what's interesting about a Superman comic book? They one of the early issues back in 1944, months before they did the atomic bomb on Japan and Hiroshima and all that, the Superman, the writers for that issue kind of spouted out about nuclear armament. They had Superman dealing with it, and the Pentagon at that time asked DC to suppress that story until after the atomic bomb, dropped,
Ooh.
because they were point detailed in their speculations.
Ooh. I wonder how the government
Yeah.
even found out.
There's also a noble gas called krypton.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there.
Well,
Yeah.
because DC was doing propaganda, and you use Superman and also Captain America from I think old times comics at that time, because Marvel wasn't existent, to be that black and white patriotic figures during wartime. So when the government had a department of propaganda to look at all the things coming out to promote America patriotism, they saw this issue and they were like vetoed it straight away and classify it.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
That's
sense.
why it's really hard. Like, I always thought it would be difficult doing like a wartime character like that when it's like essentially set in what you're kind of marketing as a realistic setting, because real stuff is happening simultaneously. So it's probably very difficult.
Yeah, they'll shut you down. They'll shut your comic down.
Yeah. So they couldn't shut them down, but they shut the story down after like several months or a year after the bombs dropped, and then it was safe for them to declassify it and show it and say, oh, they just they're like wave it away. It's like, oh, the authors are just talking about the bomb that dropped instead of the author speculated this and this is what happened. Kind of deal.
Wow, it's interesting.
Khan says, next up, radioactive spiders. Class trip to Chernobyl, y'all.
Goodness gracious.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Russian bots.
Well, I'm glad we could educate you on something, though, Art. Now you know there's actually an element called kryptonite.
Well,
Must
now
make you feel better.
yeah, it does make me feel better. But I actually want to know now if that's actually the real name or if it's a nickname for that element.
That'll be the next video.
Yeah,
Research.
because I'm thinking in my own little twisted brain that it's a nickname. It's not.
Well,
the
no.
real name.
When I was in chemistry class and we had to memorize the periodic table, it was certainly there.
Are you sure I'm not thinking of krypton? Because I know that's the noble gas. I don't
She's
know.
answering the chat, but good news, we're at 35, 855, 855. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, thanks to everybody, and thanks to all my guests for helping us do this little rap party, this black and white rap party that we got going here. So
you're Grandmaster Rapper or
oh yeah,
DJ Taylor?
DJ Taylor. Waka waka waka.
Waka waka.
Yeah,
I'm gonna share that link in the chat.
So we're on our way to 40K, huh?
Ooh, I like that. That's very rhythmic.
No, we're on the road to 60K because we want that mini print.
Hells yeah. I want to draw for you guys again, so the mini print will be new art.
Title says, I think Hack Shack is tapped out from all these streams. Why are we acting crazy?
No, this is the usual Hacks chat.
It's a party.
So just to talk about the stretch goal at 37K, you'll give us an exclusive black and white patch.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay, Taylor, go ahead and talk about the patch because this was her idea, and I think this comes from some of your Wasteland likes, right? Your tastes.
Kind of. I mean, I sell patches and pins, but they're not Wasteland exclusive. I just really like patches and pins. I have them on all my jackets, so this patch is exclusive to the campaign, and it is a patch of the logo, which is of course the target or the sight on the yin and yang symbol, which is kind of the new black and white logo. I think it looks really cool as a patch.
Cool. That'll go well with the Bigfoot patch that Doug Tenable and his thing's going well, because he's doing that patch in his campaign as well. Bigfoot patch. So that'd be cool for the next one. You guys do a patch and collect them all.
I think Lone Star did one too.
They
I
did
don't
a dog
remember.
tag. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I remember he was talking about it, and
Mhm.
I wanted him to do it. I think that I don't know. I like patches. I think that they're making a comeback. We just need
Hey,
some cold weather to put them on a thick
a
jacket.
thick jacket. I think that
Can't
was
beat that
wishful
look.
thinking of yours, Taylor, because I think you had a conversation with Mike about.
I did.
Yeah, I think she really wanted the
Yeah,
Lone Star
I
patch.
yeah, I keep thinking that it's happening, but I think it just in the chat. I was like, "You should do a patch. You should do a patch," like a million times. So we're doing it.
Yeah, we'll
So,
fulfill that dream, that destiny.
so next bumper stickers are going to be a thing again, huh?
We got a
Yeah.
calendar. That's pretty cool.
Well, first, John, we'd have to bring bumpers back to cars.
That's right.
You are by the by the way, Tag. You are correct. It is Krypton, not Krypton Night. But yes, I do remember Krypton being in my memorization. So you are correct.
I knew it because the other one has like it's kryptonite, but it's like otherwise known as, and it was like a different name.
But I think we're taking out of this is that kryptonite is a real term for an element of some sort.
It is, yes.
Yes.
It's a gassy element, huh?
A
Speak-
noble gassy element.
Speaking of gas, oh gosh.
Oh, goodness.
No,
More
this-
bear puns coming in, I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
And then moving to 40K, then we'll get a exclusive black and white trading card.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Are you guys designing it, or are you going to have Tim Lim design it? Kind of like in the vein of the other campaigns, having a collect set.
Is he doing all of them for the other campaigns?
That's what I thought he was doing. That he was doing like the main template and everything to keep it all kind of the same. So this is like the first wave Comicsgate campaigns.
Oh yeah,
throughout.
yeah. We're definitely going to tie it into the rest of the books. Their trading cards. Yeah. So, but he's not drawing them, right? It's still drawn by the individuals. It's just the layout, right, from the card.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely going to tie into that. We haven't talked to Tim yet, but yeah, we're definitely going to tie that into it. Like I said, I think on one of the earlier threads, and I might have said it on this as well. I'm trying to think more multi, multi-planed, I guess, or like chess, like multiple moves ahead. But I'm kind of one of those guys that I just kind of take care of things that are right in front of me. So as things come into view, then I take care of them, just because I think I get overwhelmed pretty easy. And I think it's got me through my monthly schedules at Marvel and DC, because I just kid about just keeping my head down, looking at the board, and not picking my head up, and just kind of like muscling through and keeping everything else out of my view so I can get things done quickly. So with these campaigns and stuff that Taylor and I are proposing to do in the future, I have to start thinking, a couple moves ahead and farther down the line. So one of the things we're going to do this week is like we were saying to Chester earlier, try to schedule our shows, our YouTube shows, in a regular way, and we're also going to try to figure out how we can get this work done, and then also how we can possibly do other projects for you guys. So one of the things that that Taylor and I have been talking about is doing projects beyond black and white. So we're going to try to figure out how we can make all that stuff happen in some kind of timely fashion, and where we can kind of not be crazy insane, because I think you got to put some kind of schedule to these ideas. Otherwise, you're all over the place, kind of like we are now. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And then moving from 50 stretch goal, a bonus for your colorist of the week and leather.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hopefully he'll still be here by that time.
But we'll have our letterer, who we did a special show with not that long ago, Jeff Eckleberry.
Yeah, Jeff will definitely be there for that. Yeah, and I think our colorist will be as well. He's been giving us stuff on a regular basis, keeping schedule, and doing a bang up job. So I don't see any reason why that won't happen at this moment in time. But you know, you got to prepare.
Awesome.
Hey, Art, can I ask an off-topic question?
Yeah.
You do Kiss stuff, right?
Yes.
So my question is, how are you gonna do a Kiss show and not have an actual singer who does Kiss covers on your chat with it, man?
Oh, well, we do.
Yeah.
Well, not a singer, but
Well, he's not a singer. Yeah. You
He's
mean
a
just a
drummer.
singer? Yeah, he's a drummer. So you mean a singer, or just like a guy in a cover band?
No, I mean me.
Wait a minute.
what?
What?
Yeah, I'm a musician, dude.
Well, I know that, but are you in a Kiss cover band?
Oh no, but I have one of our really good friends. We're like in a touring group here in Japan, and one of our really good friends is a true to life great Kiss cover band. I mean, they're all Japanese. It's funny as hell to see it, but they're really good actually. But we a lot of times end up on tour, and we're really good friends. So we get up on stage and we do like mixed things. And my band has done our own covers as well. But yeah, I've sang Kiss songs many times.
Oh man, you're coming on the show then. We're lining you up, my friend, because we have Kevin Conrad. I don't know if you guys heard the show. He's in a Kiss cover as well, and he's a comic book artist. He's done Spawn and a lot of X-Men projects, and he did the Kiss Psycho Circus comic book.
Oh,
and he's
nice.
in a cover band called Revenge, and he drums, and I think he sings as well. So he does the Peter Criss, or what is the other guy, Eric Carr? Yeah, the Eric Carr stuff. And so that would be awesome. So you're you're a lead vocalist and a guitar player?
No, I'm a lead vocalist and a saxophone player.
Oh, so do you do a pretty good version of like I guess Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons?
I'd say my Gene Simmons is better than my Paul because I have to bring my Paul down a half step to get it to be able to hit those high notes. But yeah, I do a pretty good job. I do tend in our band we tend to do a more bluesy version of it than the originals. But when we get up on stage and with the other guys, which they're called Kiss for Life, by the way. We get up on stage and I'll sing, and we'll me and the lead singer will share a mic, screaming out the song into the mic, having a lot of fun. But those guys are amazing. They have the full gear and everything. You even got the guy, the Japanese guy, I think his name is Tanaka. He does Ace Frehley, and he literally has the whole spinning guitar thing with a fireworks setup as well.
Oh,
it's cool,
my
dude.
gosh! So Chester, you know these guys?
Oh yeah, they're good friends of mine. Yeah. We play, like I said, we do a circuit, and I see those guys all the time. Sure.
You have to give me a link. You have to give me a link, and so we'll get you on the show, and then you can plug your friends, their band, their cover band, and I don't know. Is it possible that we could get them on?
Well, I mean, I'd have to translate everything. These guys are. I'm in Japan. These are Japanese.
Right. Yeah. So they do their act in Japanese, or do they phonetically sing the?
Well, they phonetically sing, and actually, I've helped them a little bit try to round it out. That's why I said it was really funny, because you got the bunch of these little Japanese guys jumping around on stage, dressed up perfectly like Kiss, but the lead singer is an amazing vocalist, so he pulls it off. I mean, they're killer. I've seen better Kiss covers. I mean, I have, but I love those guys. They just kill it. They're so enthusiastic. I mean, they are devoted, man.
Oh my gosh, Chester! If you could see my face right now, I cannot wipe the smile off of it. I am. My mouth is like as wide as it could be. That is so darn cool.
It is, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I don't know. Do they have any recordings?
I'll go check. I mean, like I said, we're like a kind of a semi-pro level. We're basically, my band is, and a lot of those bands, what we are is, when we were younger, my band in particular, we were all pros at one time, and we just got married and just did our life, and we're older guys, and we just we want to play. Musicians want to do music, just like artists want to draw, right? And it's we just got together and we're all pros, so it's automatically a tight groove and a tight band. So we rose to the high ranks of that touring level of pro very quickly. We're not like stadium openers. We're just live house people, but yeah.
Yeah. do you have any recordings of like the bluesy versions or jazzy versions of the Kiss songs that you guys do?
I might. I'll have to go dig around. We're not really. We don't do recording albums or any of that kind of stuff. Like I said, we're just a live house touring band. We don't put out albums. We don't sell shirts. We don't do that kind of stuff. We're just like I said, a bunch of old guy. We're in Japan. We're an Osan band. We're just a really good one. You know.
No. But I mean, sometimes you record yourself live or
Occasionally, yeah. No. Yeah.
Right?
We've had put a video camera up several times. I'll have to go dig through. We might have some of that. Yeah.
I wonder, since I have you guys, you guys are way more savvy with the YouTube and all the copyright infringement. But Taylor, guys, can we play that, or will we get into copy? Like, if Chester brought in like, even though it's a different version of, like, say, Rock and Roll All Night, can we play that on the show, or will we get in trouble?
I think we could.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm not really
I
sure.
look into
it wouldn't be the full song. You would have to,
Like a section,
play a few,
yeah.
play a section of it to kind of get the feel, but not play the whole song because
Yeah.
it would be under fair rights use.
Okay.
For educational purposes.
Well, I have a studio I built right here in town, so I could just go the next practice and just get the guys to throw together a little bit of a Kiss montage type of thing, and we maybe play that.
That would be cool.
Chester, you just put the smile back on my face. Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome to hear. So do you play the sax during the song?
I actually played the sax during when we used to do a long time ago. I mean, 15 years ago. We used to do New York Groove.
Oh,
And,
back in the New York, yeah.
Yeah, and we do like a jazzy fusion blues type of version of it. And yeah, I played saxophone on it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I gotta hear this. Yeah. Do you do like the echo? Because I don't know. I'm kind of feeling a sax, like, how it goes twang twang twang. Like, do you kind of do something there with the sax? Like, how it goes back in the New York groove, and then it has that little echo sound. Do they do that with the guitar, or are you doing that? Like, are you bringing the sax into that part?
Oh no! What I did was we just did a solo. I think if I remember the solo, let me see. It was da 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 da. The band would come in like that, something like that. It was a long time ago.
Oh my god,
that was cool.
So yeah, that was very cool. So the band consists of guitar, drums, saxophone, you singing, and then what else is the band?
Well, I have a really good drummer. Matter of fact, his kind of job is kind of cool. A lot of pro drummers that come to Japan to play. He's kind of his set is like considered the best drum set in Japan. So he actually goes and helps them and sets them up on stages and stuff with his drum kit, which is, I guess, I don't know anything about it, but it's supposed to be like this epic thing. So he's pretty cool. My bass player is very solid and an amazing bass player. I have two guitar players. One of them is actually the #1 guitarist in Kyushu.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's serious level. I consider myself extremely lucky that I hooked up with these guys. They're just a bunch of old dudes that got married, had kids, and they just kind of got out of music, being a pro. And I just happened to, because I took my saxophone and I just went around just for fun playing here and there, and they kind of came to me,
What is that Bryan Adams song? It's like, I bought my first 6-string at the 5 and dime.
Yeah,
and doesn't he get into all that? Like, Josie, Jimmy got married. That was the summer of '69. Because he talks about, like, the band kind of like them having high hopes, and then the guys get older, settle down, have a family, and then kind of stop rocking. But
even though he thought it would last forever.
That's part of the lyric, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are the after effect of that song, I guess.
Ooh, that's a name for a band, After Effect.
Yeah. I like to. Yeah, go ahead, man.
I was gonna say that's the name of your new show, Mark. It's After Effect.
That will be an apropos for like a Monday show, like After Effect, and it'll be basically after the Indiegogo, the after effects of Indiegogo.
The Indiegogo will never end.
That's cool. I didn't know you were such a music fan, man.
Well, I played music. I went from I always drew, since I was a little kid. So I was a comic book fan up to maybe like middle school, high school, and so then I discovered cars, rock, and women, girls, I should say. And so then my, things kind of shifted from comics into rock and roll. And so during middle school, I think there was the transition. And then by full on high school, I was rocking with the band and everything. And so we were kind of something in our little, I lived in LA County. So we were a little bit of a thing, and so we played the Hollywood clubs, so Whiskey, the Troubadour, Madame Wong's at the time, Gazzari's on the Strip, and so then we played the Orange County clubs, like the what was it called, Radio City, and Woodstock. Nice. We even played one of the local amusement parks here. It's called Knott's Berry Farm. So we played there, a couple times, and so so we were kind of there was a couple local bands at the time, and so there's a local radio station called KROQ, and we got played on the Sunday night show a couple weeks in a row, and so we also did a jingle for that radio station as well. So it was like something KROQ, the opposition just won't do. Oh man, turn it up. I just can't get enough of KROQ. Yeah, and then it would like
you touched it a bit, huh?
Yeah, and the guitar part would like kind of go with the song, like the words like KROQ. So it went da na 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 da na 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 na, and then it would go with like a digital because digital that digital robot voice was big in that time. So it said it would go rockin' the 80s, like in that robotic voice at the end of the song. Yeah, so it was probably early 80s that we reigned supreme. But I remember when we were playing, Hollywood stuff, there was the Red Hot Chili Peppers were playing. They were like Madame Wong's. They'd play there a lot. And it was Oingo Boingo, but they were called the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo. So there was a lot of local stuff going on in the in the LA in the early 80s, and then it just became hair metal after that. So it was infamous for hair metal that came after that. And I did play in a more hard rock band after that, but didn't have the success that TKO did. And I never really got into the hair metal aspect. So we were more of kind of like a heavy rock band versus growing our hair out and wearing tight pants and all that.
Yeah, sure. No, it sounds like you guys did a lot more. I was just a working schlub, man.
Oh no! I mean, it sounds a lot better than it was. So I mean, we were hustling, but it was kind of also like the Bryan Adams song that everybody, when you're young like that, you're going in your own direction. You mature, you figure out what works, what doesn't for you. And so a lot of the commitment of different band members wasn't as strong. And also there was a lot of drug use and things like that. So it kind of interfered with a lot of our development or moving forward on things too. So I think I started getting back into drawing and comic books around that time, because I think I realized that drawing was it was more reliant on me, and I didn't have to rely on, 3 or 4 other guys, to show up to practice, to get to the show, and stuff like that. So I think a lot of those things entered into the equation, and luckily I got into comics pretty early, so I didn't, there wasn't a lot of, development time or a lot of struggling. So it made it easier to make that transition from musician to, artist.
People in the chat are very impressed that you played the Whiskey art.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they used to have Gazzari's too. Gazzari's was really big. So There was what was his name? He was the godfather of rock. I'm Phil Gazzari, and I'm the godfather of rock. So those were always the local commercials, like the radio stations and stuff. So he like prided himself like he was some kind of mafia, like like Italian mafioso or something like that. And you know what? To be honest, I don't know, Chester, if when you guys play clubs and stuff, and what your agreement to get your payment is like where you're at, but in those days it did feel like you were getting involved with mob bosses, because to get paid to get those guys to keep their word was mission impossible, man. So we got ripped off almost every time we played.
No, yeah, dude. I used to do the Eastern Circuit, and we used to run with. I was with the Machine at that time, and we were like the quintessential opening band, right? And we used to run with like Aerosmith, Black Crowes, Winger actually would do some of those things. Neil Young, things like that. We do that Eastern Circuit, and we were always the opener. And
Wow.
yeah, it was always. Depending if like we were at the campus club or something like that, no problem. Those guys would pay straight up. But some of those smaller venues, especially down in Pennsylvania, they were a little bit more difficult.
Well, that's way beyond anything I did. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So you opened for those guys?
Yeah, we were opening band mainly. I mean, most of the stuff I did was just like stage stuff. We'd have like a lot of. I was a jazz musician mainly, and up in New York, and we'd have a lot of pros come in, like Miles Davis, and I mean all the big jazz guys, and we would be the stage band, and they would come and play. We just every week we prepare the next guest songs, and we just play behind them. That's what I mainly did. But I did get a couple of really good gigs, and one of those was with the Machine, and the Machine was the #1 Pink Floyd tribute band. And I did all the sax stuff for them, and we opened up for a lot of big names, man.
That's awesome. I used to know that sax player's name. Didn't he? He used to go on Letterman's show a lot, right? What was
he may have. Yeah, I don't recall his name offhand.
Yeah, he was like he was a jazz guy, I think, initially. But I think when anybody wanted sax on a rock album, I think he ended up sitting in. I know Scott would know that guy's name. I can't think of it offhand. But wow, that's very cool, man.
Yeah, no, his solos were very cool, by the way, and I had to memorize all of them. So I didn't get to. I actually preferred when I did some of the what I'm doing now, because back in those days when I was doing the stage or with the Machine, or when some of the other smaller ones I did, I was pretty much those guys were real strict about this is the solo, it's in the song, this is the solo you have to play. So I had no freedom, right? But now I do whatever I want. It's my band, so. It's a lot better now.
So it's the Pink Floyd song, like "Welcome to the Machine," right? Like that's where you got the
exactly. Yeah. And actually, I know this is going to be sacrilege to certain people, but the lead singer, we had the Machine there. I think he was better.
That's cool. That is so cool. I like trash talk like that. Yeah, I think we were better.
Yeah. Now the only real problems I had with that, and one of the reasons I eventually got out and I just went down to New Orleans and started playing in Bourbon Street and stuff, was because the circuit was fun and it was money in your pocket. I mean, every set I did, I'd get $1,000, unless I was in Pennsylvania. Not like I'm calling that out or anything, but so that's solid money, right? That's really good money at that time. This is the 80s, right?
And that's for a 2-hour set, right? Or something like that, right?
Yeah, but it rarely got, I'd say about 1.5 hours. And I was just a sax player, but still, it's really good money. But the thing with it was that Eastern Circuit, man, especially when we come on, because we're a Pink Floyd band, right? There was just so much acid and stuff going around the room, and I saw so many bad trips. It just drains on you, man, after years of it,
Yeah, so, I didn't want to get into detail with the drugs. Yeah, but the drugs kind of, not that I'm a prude, or whatever about drug use and things, but I saw it ruin some people. And a guy that I played in the band went down a really bad road, and that's kind of what destroyed that band. Without getting into too much detail. Yeah, it's really bad. And you can see it kind of, because you're working real close with these guys, so you can see it come. Like it seems so obvious when you're on the outside looking at it. and you can't believe that they can't see it, but I guess that's the trap. That's that's the allure, I guess.
Con says,
yeah,
sorry to say, Con says, drug use in the rock scene? Surely you jest.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Yeah, man. So then I went down to Bourbon Street, and it changed from acid to heroin and alcohol. So you can't get away from it. What do you got to do?
Yeah, heroin was the big one. That's where I was going with the demise of the one band. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, some guys can handle it better than others, but some people, man, it just destroys them, and they never come back from it. So so I think that all those things were kind of out of my control. So I think I liked becoming more like reliant on myself with my art. So the one thing that I kind of do miss, and that's why this YouTube stuff is really cool, and it's coming out like there's a performer in you, right, Chester? And it just you want to talk to people, you want to entertain people.
Yeah,
so
that's
at
right.
first this was a little jarring for me, but now I'm really enjoying it, and kind of the more comfortable I get, then the more I feel like I can be entertaining as well. So yeah, so that's the fun part of this as well. So when you're drawing, you're kind of insulated. You're in your own little world, and so I think this is going to be fun for these create your own projects that Taylor and I have planned, and the YouTube stuff, because it's a little outside of my wheelhouse, and it's a little scary, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun. So yeah.
Hey, Art. So is it much different than the image explosion then?
I think the image explosion was a little bit more external. So I think that the guys in the Comicsgate world have plans on possibly doing shows and getting out in front of people. But those image guys, they didn't have any qualms about it. So they dove right in. You know what I mean? So they came out in a big way. So they were doing shows, like comic conventions, things like that. And they were really boisterous about it. So I think probably into the second year, or when people the creators here become a little bit more comfortable, I can see them, us going out and just making a big, to do.
But Art, don't you think the difference between now and then is that you are kind of doing like a mini convention each night when you jump on YouTube? We kind of talk to you and we kind of ask the same kind of questions as if you were in a convention. And, we get to learn more about you because we get you on almost a daily basis, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's better than the image thing, because you kind of are able to do a long form of those Q&A sessions and kind of give inspiration, like your hat chats when you're doing the portfolio reviews. You're showing, ways to improve your art, where, a fan could just say, hey, how do you do it? And you kind of do like a simple thing, but you have to keep moving because of the show and panel. But in this form, you kind of go at your own pace, and people are able to get into the studio kind of deal with you on a daily basis and kind of learn what the rope is. So I think it's kind of amazing what you guys are doing each day. It's kind of like we do appreciate it, because we kind of see the inside of everything that you guys are doing, and how to do this feel, and how to do these interesting and these little tips and these little hints and these ways that the comic book industry works.
Well, that's a great observation. I didn't think about it quite like that. So it is kind of a more detailed comic book convention experience. Yeah,
that's what I was getting at. Art, was the difference in when that exploded. They didn't have so much internet access and usage of it like we have right now. So that's what I was asking. Is it that much different for you from back then, because you had to travel to the people? Now you could sit right there and the people are traveled to you through the internet.
Yeah, I think, and Chester will back me up, it's kind of like the only difference is, like, this is a great experience and I'm loving it, and what's neat about this is that we can reach potentially so many more people than you can at a convention. But there is something about like the interaction. So with like people, it's like playing live, like you play in the studio and you're with your mates jamming. But then when you go out on stage, it's kind of different. And this is a performance of sorts, but it's not quite the same as like being there with people and seeing their faces and interacting. And if you remember the Image days, and I'm not taking anything away from this because I think potentially this thing's going to be bigger than those days. I really, really, in my heart of hearts, do believe that. But right now, the part that's lacking is kind of the interaction. Going to shows and seeing people and seeing their faces and seeing how they're really reacting, one-on-one to what you're doing and what you're saying. And when somebody picks up your book and you get to see their faces, and stuff like that, it's a little bit different, but I do think it'll get to that point. And John, I think this is going to blow up. I think this is going to be like astronomical.
Oh, I know it is. So I already see it happening. So you could just tell by the numbers, on everybody's book, that it's there and it's growing every day. Because anybody who's in demand, look at how far they jumped over the 100,000 mark.
Oh, yeah. You mean when it goes into the store? Yeah.
You've seen every single one of them just start jumping like crazy. So yeah, it's growing.
Yeah, that's the hopes, and I think as we progress, kind of like what I was talking about, I think Taylor and I are diamonds in the rough, and we're learning, and we're getting our feet, into this, and we're kind of, we've only been doing this for what, Taylor, maybe 6 weeks at tops.
I don't know. To be honest, the days all blur together.
Yeah, maybe it's been two months, but that would be like the max. Yeah.
Well, you are over 36,000, by the way.
Ooh.
Yep.
Oh. See how it grows?
Yeah. Just John talks, and then the numbers just flip over. John, keep talking.
It's easily could grow just by a voice, and then a voice turns into a scream. So that's how loud it gets.
That was scary and inspiring.
That's a lyric for a song right there.
You know my past with music, so
yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I think on the 36K high note, I think we're going to wrap this up, and I want to thank you guys, and I'll let you get some plugs in for your shows and everything, and let everybody know where they can find you. So we will start with John.
Okay, I'm on all social media platforms, either John Davies or John D21972 on Instagram, or John D1972 on Twitter. I have the YouTube channel, John Davies, that you guys could catch my show, The Artist and the Porter, every Tuesday night, 8 p.m.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
I'm subscribing right now.
Oh, thank you.
So it just dawned on me right now. Okay, so when you went 36K, that's the patch, right? Is that the patch, Taylor?
No, that's not till 37.
37.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 37. Okay, so Denali.
Well, you can catch me on Twitter. I'm Denali101.
That's
I'm also
age, by the way, 101.
Yeah, old boomer here. And you can catch me on Bugs Bear Basement on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Fanspeak on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we do Comics News Today, mostly 8 o'clock. This is the exception, so we'll probably do that right after this live stream. So check us out there. And you can join us on Fanspeak on Facebook, which is facebook.com/groups/Fanspeak. Cool. And join our group, and I always put up news and interesting articles there. And we're also doing the art contest for a new logo and a new mascot. The winners of those, we're going to do a full spread,
Ooh.
one-page ad in Alterna Comics to promote your art and the logo in the group. So
Pretty
we're
cool.
So
It is.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Chester.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having us on. This is a lot of fun chatting with you, and especially that we are fans actually of the art you do, man. And I'm happy to see the community come out and support you, and I hope they continually do. And looking forward to all your future projects, of course. But yeah, no, just like Denali said, we do fan speak on the Fandom Zones. We also do Bugbear's Basement on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as our usual pocket. We try to be consistent with that. I did put the link in our Hangouts chat, by the way, Tag. If you could drop that into the chats for everyone, please go over to. Thank you. Please go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. But more importantly, hit the bell and come over when we're on and help support us and help us grow. Because if you enjoyed the fun we had here, that's what we try to do. We want to have a channel that is about fun and about enjoying this community and enjoying comics in general. And that's what we like to do, just like Art likes to do. So if you guys are interested in that, please come on over and join us. We'd be very happy to have you.
Well said. Let me get my last. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so this is going to be my last plug, and then I'm gonna let Taylor talk us out. And so this is going to be the giveaway art. I'm going to finish it up with some brush ink and some wash, but this is also going to be the design, since you guys talked me into it on the last thread, that this will be the design for the front inside. It'll be on the front inside cover. So this is for the sketch tier. So this will be the same image that we're going to use in the sketch tier. So if you haven't checked out the sketch tier, please do, and just know that this will be the image that I will be drawing on the front inside cover. So thanks for tuning in. And Taylor, you want to get us out?
Yeah. Okay, so you guys, we have a few hours left in the Black and White Remastered campaign. Don't miss your shot to get a copy of the book, and we are getting closer to our next stretch goal, which is that patch. And if you're a patch collector like me, you like patches, you're going to want that. This is going to be the only place that you can get it is by backing the campaign. Please keep spreading the word. These final hours are very important. And as always, word of mouth is very important when you're showing all your comic book friends and non-comic book reading friends this link. You might introduce them to their new favorite. You never know. So please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Please like this video to boost our views. And don't forget to support Black and White Remastered.
Yes, Black and White Remastered. Thanks, guys. Thanks to everybody that's backed the book so far. Please get out if you haven't picked up a copy. Like Taylor said, we have a couple more hours. And I'd like to thank my guests, Chester, Denali, and our mainstay, John Davies. So thanks, everybody. Have a great Sunday, and we'll talk to you later.
Stay cray cray.
Stay cray cray. Okay.
Hello.
See you guys.